Nagbablog na ako, men. Nagbablog na ako. Nakita mo yung vlog ko? It's me again, Luzon. This is the life of a car guy again. You know, reporting back to you guys. But yeah, so right now I'm at my, I'm doing my normal road test for work. And basically, like I said, I'm a used car tech for GE Volkswagen. So we're driving this, what is this, a 2014 Volkswagen Passat right now. Nothing really crazy. Basically what we do is just make sure that these cars are, good to be sold as, certified or select, so that's our job, is to make sure that this car is going to be safe and nice and, all the things you want to do to a car that you're trying to sell to the public, So these cars usually come from car rentals, like auctions. Sometimes they come from like all the way up down to Florida. Like they ship them all the way here, and our job is to really make sure that everything works. So we actually, first thing we do when we get the car is we take it to emission. We got an emission station at work, and we got to make sure that it will actually pass. And sometimes when you take it to the emission station, some of these cars won't pass, so we have to actually drive them for a couple of 100 miles sometimes, just to make sure they'll pass before we can even sell them. So after that, after we get it through emissions and it actually passes through that, we then start checking, the whole entire car. We start off from the outside, check for any cracks on the windshield, check for any cracks on headlights, tail lights, make sure there's no condensation in the lenses, check for, make sure that all the lights are working properly, no modifications in the lights. What else do we check? We check wiper blades, of course. We check for spare inside the trunk, the toolkit that they give you from the factory. After that, we check for the seat belts, the seats, and then we check for the buttons, if they're working. Make sure the AC works, heater works, CD player works, CD changer works, Wi-Fi, I mean not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Bluetooth works, the Navi works. Make sure windows all work, all the switches, like I said. What else? And then after we check all of that, we put it up in the air. We make sure there's no play, there's no play in the suspension anywhere, any broken parts, anything loose. We check for tire pressure, make sure that's at the right tire pressure setting. And we also actually we don't follow the door sometimes, because when it's cold we have to put more air in the tires. When it's hot we keep it the same, whatever the door says. What else? We check for brakes. I said that already, right? Okay, we check for brakes. After checking it, make sure, checking for anything underneath the car, we make sure there's no leaks, no oil leaks, no, none of that crazy stuff. We also check the battery too, make sure the battery is good. So we have a tester for that. In some cases, when we do get a hybrid car, we actually scan it, because sometimes those hybrid systems, they'll actually have a fault in the system, and it won't tell you on the dash. So, and if we miss that will cost the dealership so much money. So anything that's weird that comes in, like a lot of this, weird cars like hybrid or maybe sports cars that are they're being traded in, we make sure that those things are not beat up, that they haven't messed up a turbo or something, so we scan those things, make sure, we try not to miss anything wrong with the car. And then after that we go drive the car, and that's what we're doing right now. Well, this one we're already done with this car, and with this one, what we're doing with this one is just road testing it. But when we do get a car, we have our own little route that we follow, and it consists of high speed, going straight. We'll then take an exit, and then we'll go onto the back roads, like this one. Do you want to show them? Yeah, this is like the back roads. And the reason why we drive through back roads because there are hills and like, you know, turns, and some cars, you know, if you're trying to look for wheel bearing issues, or you're trying to look for sway bar issues, or any type of issue, transmission issue, it will show up when you're going up a hill, going down a hill, you know, especially, you know, you want to see if the car is gonna downshift, you know, shit like that. And then the braking part, of course, you're gonna brake when you hit a corner, and, you know, you'll see if the rotors are pulsating. Like this one right now has a little bit of pulsation, but, you know, we're gonna let it go until they might complain about it, because the brakes are still good. So like, show them the road that we take. So this is one of the roads we take for road testing. So it's like, you know, it's really bendy. You know, you have to slow down really, and then we'll hit it once in a while like that. Make sure that the transmission would, like, you know, catch, you know, and then we brake again. So from just driving on back roads, you'll hear everything in the car. Like, it's a lot quieter. There's no other cars on the road with you, so you'll hear if there's like a rattle or anything like that, it will show up right away. That's why we have our own little route when we do road test these cars when it comes to used cars. There's a lot more to it than people think. You know, I don't know how other dealerships do it, but this is how I do it. And whatever I do, I mean, our percentage of cars that are coming back is very low when we do it. And me and my partner, we really check everything. Like, if we do miss something, it's probably something we didn't see, or something that's like something out of the ordinary type shit that, you know, we didn't, you know, catch. But we learn from our mistakes. So, I mean, we barely get comebacks. And then sometimes we also get trucks, you know, like pickup trucks, and that's probably the one that I hate the most to do, because a lot of the ones we were getting before, they're so rusted out, and our lifters, Volkswagen lifters, you know, our system are designed for like little cars, and then you get this big ass F-150 in there, or F-250, and you have no idea how to lift that shit up with a fucking lifter. So we have issues with those, and because, you know, it's not designed for those big ass trucks. And we actually go to like a parking lot like this, and we do get a truck. I wish I had a truck right now so I can show you guys. This is where we test out our four-wheel drive, and basically it's really easy. We just park it, you know, we park the shit, you know what I'm saying, and when we park it, we engage it into four-wheel drive, and we start making hard turns. And when you make hard turns on four-wheel drives, it will start a bind, and then that's how you know the four-wheel drive's working. So that's how we check it. And then if it's all-wheel drive, then that shit's not really gonna show. But usually all-wheel drive cars, if there was an issue with the all-wheel drive system, it will show up anyway on your dash, because it has like sensors and stuff like that that will let you know, hey, you know, your all-wheel drive system is fucking up. But you know, in this situation, I don't have a fucking all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive right now. So after we drive it, we take it back into the shop, and we write down everything wrong. You know, we write down the specs, like, you know, the tire measurements, the brake pad measurements, everything. So we list down all the problems with it, and after that we try to get prices. We go to a parts department. We go to the parts department. After we go to parts department, of course, they're gonna call and ask, you know, basically call around for pricing. And after we get the prices, we go to our advisor, and then they approve the whole job. So that's really the process. And after we fix the issues with the car, we road test it again. So that's how it works. But I mean, it's pretty fun at times. Most of the times, actually, we get to drive different cars all the time. It's also risky because we are responsible for these cars. So that's another thing that why most people don't like to do it at my job, because, you know, if you crash it and it's your fault, and you're liable for it. So you can pay up to like $2,000 in deductible if you crash one of these cars. You know what I'm saying? If it's not your fault, you're fine. You don't have to pay shit. But then they do test you for drugs, and like if you're influenced by alcohol in those accidents and shit. So, but yeah, that's about it. Like, so thank you.